Hello, ladies and jelly spoons, boys and girls. It is your host, the Game Ninja, and welcome to the Game Dojo. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We still got gameplay coming for you, so stay tuned. We got the PlayStation. What did we settle on? Because I said PlayStation Station, which didn't sound good. PlayStation Nation, which sounded really good. We got the Nintendo Power Hour, and we have the Xbox on lock. Sound good. And then we got the Mega Sega. The Mega Sega Hour is going to be pretty good too, because we're going back. Sega's doing some big things this year, and we're going to honor it. But today, we're going to talk about legacies. Legacies and childhood fun. So everybody remembers names like the Tower of Power. Everybody remembering things like TurboGrafx 16, Panasonic 3DO Reel. If you're my age, you do. If you were born in the 2000s and on, you probably have no idea what a Panasonic 3DO Reel is, TurboGrafx 16, Game Gear, Game Boy Advance. You probably know those because those are new on certain platforms. But in my time, before all of those came along, we just had what they called the console war generation. And that was Nintendo and Sega, and then Xbox and PlayStation came a little bit long later. Atari was never really a part of the console wars, even though they did create two great systems. I still have one of the mini ones here, the Atari 2600. I also have the 7800 back there on my wall. Actually, no, I don't. I lied. I actually have it right here because I was going to use this and play with it. So these are the mini versions of what I grew up with, the pioneers of gaming. They also had ColecoVision. They had a bunch of other little smaller systems during the time, but the Atari, both 2600, 5200, and 7800. This is the 7800 mini model, and this is the 2600 mini model. Both of them come with a bunch of games on there. Also have them on a bunch of different platforms and medium. Unfortunately, due to people being retro gamers and they're in it just for the money and taking advantage of people, these things are expensive as hell and almost impossible to get. If I come across one of these, though, I will pick it up for the right price. Same thing with a Sega Master System. They are the only ones that we're missing. But like I was telling you, when we started out, my first system was the 2600 with the little cartridges you put in there with the little round joysticks, and then there was the 7800. Now the 7800 is, I don't see if you can put this back here, is back there on my wall. Let's see if I can zoom in for you guys. So that's where they have my 7800 controllers. That's where they have the 2600 controllers. They're back there on my little wall there. Yeah, so that's my little wall that I have over there. That one is for this home and this home. This is where these goes, but lately I've been working them into rotations. So let's talk about memories. 2600. When I was a teenager, this was way later, way after this came out. My cousin William had some issues with his family. You know, everybody had issues at certain times. So I used to go over and spend the night, you know, to help take the angst and the drama off of him. And we used to game pretty much all night. We used to do Star Search and sing like we was on Star Search. It was it's a TV show from back in the day, kind of like Your America's Got Talent. But Star Search had Ed McMahon, a dude that, you know, you may have won $10 million. But we used to go over his house and we used to bust this and play all the time. Space Invaders, Pole Position. Like, there was a bunch of games that we played, basketball with the men with L feet, Atari boxing. And then we both managed around and got the 7800 as well. So we was doing the 7800 as well. But my fondest memory of these two was being over his house and just seeing the joy in his face of taking away his mind off of his problems, real life problems. And unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. He was killed subsequently. I'm not over it, and this world is a harsh reminder of how harsh this world can be, especially to delicate sensibilities. So I dedicate this video in his honor. William Seaton IV. Rest in peace, brother. But we started playing on these, and we spent hours and hours and hours and hours having fun just on the Ataris. He was my first real Atari experience, because I had seen it back in the day, in the early 70s, late 70s. but we never really had one. Our first system was a Commodore 64. We never really got the Ataris. But being with him and over his house, I had a chance to bust a lot of these. These were cartridge-based systems, and to this day, Atari hasn't gone out of style. There are still places now, and even to this day in 2024, Atari is releasing a handheld console. They're releasing another console with all their older games in it, and we just got the Atari 50th celebration collection, which you can check that out on my channel. Awesome games, awesome. Oh my God, like they did so many fandom things on there, telling you where it came from, the little games, the little arcade cartridges. They did Atari Jaguar. They gave you the history. They gave you little videos. They did everything. It really was fan service, the best fan service. For me, it started here, but in my gaming legacy, I can't forget Atari, because Atari was the first real thing to latch me on to this thing called gaming. Later on, they did come out with something called the Nintendo Entertainment System. Put these down here. Sorry, off a frame, I had to send them down. They came out with something called the Nintendo Entertainment System. The Nintendo Entertainment System was actually one of my favorites. It was actually one of my favorites. I played it for hours and hours. Christmas of 1987. Christmas of 1987, we got what was called the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a box. This kind of shows you what it is right here. This is a box. Yeah. Now, the funny part is, what's in a box? I know you're thinking, okay, so you got the Nintendo looking box, but what's in a box? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what's in a box? Guess what's in a box? Guess what's in a box? What's in a box? What's in a box? It is none other than the mini version of that actual system, the Nintendo Entertainment System. 1987 is when I first got this, Christmas morning. Our mother came together and got the family a game system. And I don't know if she knew what it was. I don't know. Maybe everybody told her this is the gift this year that everybody's going to be playing. But she got us a Nintendo Entertainment System. It came with a light gun, the zapper, which again is right over there. See if I can focus in on it. There's the zapper right there. There's the Nintendo zapper. Can y'all see that? Do you see my finger? There you go. There's the Nintendo zapper right there on my wall. That's the Nintendo zapper. And it came with 2 controllers. Now, I know nowadays game systems only come with 1 controller. No games. This one came with a zapper, 2 controllers, and a game, a double cartridge. That double cartridge was, hold on, because I'm going to show you. Like I said, we're going to go around the avenue. So this is pretty good today. So I'm going to put our little Nintendo back in the box for a second. What's in the box? What's in the box? Little Nintendo. All right, so like I was saying, the Nintendo came with a game, 2 controllers, and a cartridge. That cartridge was, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, can y'all see that one? Super Mario Brothers. But it didn't just come with this game, it also came with Duck Hunt. Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So it came with, I'll pop both up for you, Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So it came with both Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. It came with a combination cartridge. So both of these games came on 1 cartridge. That's right. Both of these games came on 1 cartridge with the gun, because you got to play Duck Hunt with a gun. You couldn't play it any other way. And it came Mario Brothers with 2 controllers, Mario and Luigi. And that was the beginning odyssey for me for gaming. And Nintendo was where it really started for me. And Nintendo is where it still is almost 50 years later. That's right. In the words of Doc Brown, my God, has it been that long? Yeah, it has. It really has. Now, Nintendo had so many other great games on it. Games that I absolutely loved. One of the fondest memories I have for the Nintendo Entertainment System is there was a commercial on TV where people were all across the globe and they were chanting Mario, 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 Mario. And everybody's wearing different colors. And as the camera zoomed back, you saw all the people around the world and it created a Mario face. It created a Mario face on the world. And around this time, there was a movie that came out called The Wizard. And The Wizard had Fred Savage, right? Fred Savage in it.
Yes.
And it was about this kid going to Las Vegas for this gaming tournament for the unveiling of a new game that the world had not seen. That game was, boom, Mario Brothers 3. This was the secret game that they played in The Wizard. Though I'm calling bullshit because I would have destroyed every one of those kids. But this is what the game was. This is what I mean when I say friends, nostalgia, and feelings and moments. This one right here. Oh, thank you. I have the Nightmare Creature in the Game Dojo. That movie I was talking about is here. It's The Wizard. This is the movie I was talking about. See it? This whole movie was about a video game tournament. Well, it wasn't about a video game tournament, but the two brothers, they wanted to go because they really wanted to. What was it? What was in the box that the little boy had, his little brother had?
Basically, it was a movie about a brother trying to break his kid out of one of those children, out of one of those psychiatric children's homes because everybody thought that the brother, his little brother,
what was in the box? But what was in the box the little brother had?
It was pictures and memorabilia from his deceased sister.
Was the sister? It wasn't the mother?
No.
What happened to the mother? Because I know the dad was with them.
The mother married somebody else. What had happened was his twin sister, the little boy that had the lunchbox full of his sister's mementos.
Fred Savage's younger brother, right?
Yes, had mementos of his sister because his sister had drowned.
All right.
And that's how the marriage of the father and the mother broke up because nobody knew how to handle the loss. And
you can see Mario right here on the cover. Anyways, if you guys check this out, like I said, gaming comes with memories all across the board. The game that was featured in there was Mario Brothers 3, and the commercial I was talking about was Mario Brothers 3, with everybody holding hands across the world and chanting Mario, creating the gigantic Mario face from Mario Brothers 3. But on the same token, there was another Mario game that was yet talked about but came out. Most of us played it, and we really didn't realize it really wasn't a Mario game. They just put the characters in there, and that was Super Mario Brothers 2. Super Mario Brothers 2, to me, is still part of the Mario Brothers legacy, though it was nothing really like any other Mario Brothers game we ever played in life. That's also where the princess actually was introduced as a playable character. She could actually float from point to point. Luigi had the little feet that moved. Toad was just Toad, and Mario was the bomb. But during that also time, we also played, where's it at here? We also played another game, Metroid, Super Metroid, all of these things were the bomb. And these were my Nintendo, my Nintendo feelings. And what do they call it? Nostalgia. But yeah, so during that time with the Nintendo Entertainment System, that's what got me hooked on this thing called gaming. I wanted to play it all. I wanted to be there. I wanted to enjoy it all. So the Nintendo was the gateway drug for better things to come. And during that same time, we also had, you heard Biggie talk about it, but that's kind of like right there, that's kind of like a precursor. You know what's coming next. Although during the time where it came out, Biggie called it, he said Super Nintendo Sega Genesis. Because around that time, that's when this baby came out. Yeah, it's hooked up. All my systems are hooked up. Yeah, I want y'all to know that. All my systems are hooked up. Yeah, I don't play pimp. Let me set this baby down right here. Give me 1 second. All right, we back. We had to move some stuff around. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. So like I said, as the late, great, notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls said, Super Nintendo Sega Genesis, when I was dead broke, yo, I couldn't picture this. He was talking about the two systems, my next two systems. Because after Nintendo, That's right, another Christmas morning miracle. We got the Super Nintendo. Now this is the mini version because I have this version and also have the digital version, but I wasn't able to come across an original, sadly. Like I said, unfortunately, when it comes to custom classic collecting, there's so many people out there to make a dollar off of people who really are collectors that it drives the prices up of everything astronomically, and I'm not gonna spend the price of a PlayStation 5 for a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo. It's not gonna happen. But Super Nintendo was my next system. This is the one. Every week, my memory for this one, like I'm showing you, there's memories for everything, but everything is tailored to a memory. My memory for this one was every week we went to Blockbuster and oh, wait a minute, I got it here. Hold on one second. All right, yeah, I got it. So every week at Blockbuster, we got 3 movie rentals. You was able to get 4. So we got 3 movie rentals and 1 video game rental. That video game rental, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that I rented every single last week, probably for about 12 months straight. I could have bought the game twice. Right there. See that? Super Mario Kart. This is thanks to my brother. My brother Phil came through and was like, yo, I got a surprise for you. He got me a Super Mario Kart video game for Super Nintendo. This is the Super Nintendo cartridge, the actual Super Nintendo cartridge. I got that joint on here too because my mini got all the games. My mini has the whole collection of Super Nintendo games, just like my Nintendo has 666 full games on it. When I have my minis have the entire collections put on them. If I'm gonna have a memory and go back and relive memories, we're gonna do it the right way. But this right here, Super Mario Kart and my Super Nintendo, my fondest memory is playing Mario Kart every weekend with my brothers and sisters and friends. This is where Mario Kart began with me, and here we are 2024, 3 decades later, and I'm still busting Mario Kart. I'm still going at it. Mario Kart Deluxe 8 Booster Course Pass 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. We out here. See this? This is where we live. My sister will still talk about the days that I got behind her with a red shell screaming, "Lords, Lords, Lords." That was from Meteor Man. Meteor Man came out, was the superhero Robert Townsend at that time. When the Golden Lords was chasing him, that's what they was chanting while he was trying to run away. And he hid in the dumpster, the trash can. It was "Lords, Lords, Lords." So I used to say that when I got behind her with a red shell. It made her so nervous she would drive off the track. It was just fun. It was fun, man. Mario Kart. If you played Mario Kart right now in today's society, go back on your Nintendo Switch. They have something called the expansion pack. If you get the expansion pack, you can get the Super Nintendo on there and you can bust this. That's right. This is already native, ready to go. If you have that booster course pass. This is here. This is right here where you live. That expansion pack, that includes the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis. It's got a bunch of other things. But that's my fondest memory with this. I cannot tell you how many days I bust this. And if they didn't have this, because everybody kept renting it, I had to do Royal Rumble. Like I did Royal Rumble, but this was my game right here. This was my game. This is my game to this day. I still love it. So, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, yo, I couldn't picture this. That's right. Sega Genesis, the real one. I know there's a different version of it, but this John with that little maroon color right there, this was the one that I came across. Y'all heard me talking about it in previous videos where my mother and father split up and my father needed stuff to relate to his kids, so he got a Sega Genesis. And he messed around and got some Mortal Kombat, and I had to destroy him. But sooner or later, I knew that Sega Genesis was going to be mine because I was the one that busted it all the time. My sisters didn't really get into games anymore. We were older. I was a gameaholic. Like I told you, from the minute I saw those first pixels and sprites, I was sold. Nintendo for life. But I did ended up getting a Sega Genesis, but as I moved on, went through school and moved out into everything, that Genesis just faded into Thanos's existence. And I feel bad that I never hung on to it. That, my Nintendo or my Super Nintendo, I wish I could have held on to those things. But I'm able to recapture them and get them back now. And this is what it's all about. This is what gaming is all about for a classic gamer. Recapturing those feelings, those moments, that nostalgia. Because believe it or not, it's still in here. It's still in here. It's still in here. So when I got this joint, I was like, oh, I got to get the games that I used to bust on this. And the games I used to bust on this, you can see right here on my Sega wall. Put it up a little bit. I don't know if y'all can really see it that well. But it's Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Cool Spot, that's the 7-Up game, Tasmania, NBA Jam, Jurassic Park, and Bulls versus the Blazers and the NBA playoffs. Those was the ones that I was renting from Blockbuster in order to accomplish these tasks. So when I got these, I was so happy that I was able to play some of my childhood memories again, because every time I play these games, it takes me back to those memories, and I feel it, I live it. It's like, I don't know if it's my form of memory, maybe because I have eidetic memory, so if I remember something that way, it triggers it back in my head, nostalgia. But yeah, so I started going out and getting all the games that I used to play with friends, neighborhoods, and everybody else. The next one I was playing was Alter Beast. That's right. Oh, you wondering? Yeah, I got a little thing over here, a box full of cartridges. I got Super Nintendo, I got Nintendo 64, and I got Sega Genesis. That one right there, Alter Beast, definitely one of my favorite. Many more hours. Up in this one, I got the arcade classics, Centipede, Missile Command, and Bassmasters. These ones that I played too. I pretty much only want to get the cartridges that I wanted to play, because these are the ones that I rented all the time. So these are very hard to get a hold of, and they're very hard to find. Terminator 2, and right there you have Sega Sports World Series 1996. So these are the games, like I said, that I went to Blockbuster to rent. So I wanted physical versions of them. I couldn't find them, sadly, in a box, but I'd rather have the cartridge and play it than not at all. That's NHL 94. This is NFL Football 97, Joe Montana, and that one right there, Columns, one of the best games, Columns right there. So those are the games that I normally bust when I went to Blockbuster. And yes, I still rented Mario Kart. Yeah, I still did. But if you're saying, well, you know, why don't you just go out and see if you can find all those cartridges? I did, but like I said, with people out there driving up the price of classic collecting, it soured me on a lot of taste. Like, I can't tell you that I had an argument with a guy because he wanted to charge me almost $400 for a broken Nintendo Power Glove. The Power Glove. He knew it was broken, but because online they told him what it was going for, that's what he wanted to sell it for. Bro, I didn't even want it to play it. I just wanted to put it up on my wall. I'm not paying it. But this is sadly what we have to go through as classic collectors. But I do have, like I told you, I have the mini version. The same system that you saw 4 seconds ago that I have as the original system. So I can go and put the games that I used to play all the time, enjoy, right here on the original system. But if I want to play other games that I can't find and that I never had, I got the mini. And this mini has the entire collection on it. You can look through my videos on my channel and see actual functionality of me playing this and how many games it's on there. But this right here, this is another memory from the childhood. Like I said, every game system I played was because of a childhood memory that stuck with me even to this day. And with the world going crazy, viruses and inflation and money and prices and stress levels, you got to do something to just recapture a little bit of that stress off of you. You ain't gonna make it, man. This is my drug. This is my wonder drug right here. This is how I get high. This is how I get down. I'm the game ninja in the heart of Gamer Nation. This is how I get down. So, after Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, because I was dead broke and I couldn't picture it, we came out with something called the Nintendo 64. Now, I ain't gonna pull it down, but right there is my Nintendo 64. Right there. Right there. And what's in it? Like always, Mario Kart. Mario Kart is bust up in there. Let me see if I can lift you up there and see it. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Mario Kart is in there. This is the Nintendo 64 controller. But as you can see, Mario Kart is up in there. Can you see that? Yeah, Mario Kart. Now that is the Japanese form of Mario Kart. That's not the American one, because my Nintendo 64 is not American. It's the Japanese version. Now you're saying, how the hell did you get your hands on that? Well, there's a little quick memory for that too as well before I go into why I love Nintendo 64 so much. So when I was classic collecting, this is before people ruined and soured the taste in my mouth. I was working at a job and a lady came in and said, hey, we were just talking about like things, just random things. And I was like, yeah, man, like I wish I could go back and recapture all that stuff from my childhood. I used to play like Nintendo 64, like Mario Kart was in my life. And she was like, is that the one where they had like the Mario Brothers on it? I was like, yeah, well, they all had Mario Brothers on it. She's like, look, the one with that weird like boomerang controller. And I was like, yeah, that was actually one of my good ones. Mario 64 was good. She was like, yeah, my son still has one. I think he's in my attic. And I was just like, that's good. That's good. I was like, hold on to that joint, you know, because, you know, she was like, well, I don't need it. I don't play games. So the classic gamer in me was just like, really? So I was like, I could take it off your hands if you want. Like, I mean, if you ain't, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to do nothing with it, I can take it off your hands. She was like, well, he went away to college. He hasn't been back for years. So yeah, he doesn't really care about it. And I was just like, if you only knew, if he's a gamer, he care about it. But that part of me that wanted one was like, I gotta take this chance. You only get one shot. So she was like, oh, make me an offer. I was like, what do you think is fair? And she was just like, I really don't know. I could probably look it up. I was just like, well, they normally go for around, you know, $50, $60. And she was like, really, that much still? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, it comes with like games and controllers and stuff. And I was just like, I could do 80, you know, for the controllers and everything else in there. She was like, oh, no problem. I was just like, yeah, so let me know when you got it and I'll take it off your hands. She left. That moment after she finished her purchases, and she came back probably about an hour and a half later. Now I didn't think she was serious. I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't think she was serious. So she came back with the box, and it had 4 Nintendo 64 controllers. Those controllers there on my wall. You see those? Those are the Nintendo 64 controllers. Those 3 plus the 4th. Plus the 4th that I have right here hooked up into it. And she had cartridges. The cartridges she had a bunch of them. Like I said, I got drawers full of these. So what did she have? I'll show you a bunch of them. So she had this is Mayhem and Star Fox 64. So she had WCW Mayhem, Star Fox 64. She also had Mario 64. This was the truth. This is the truth. The light in the way right here. This right here. This right here. I played this game until I had headaches. I had headaches and couldn't, like the polygons and the colors. I was probably close to having seizures. I busted so many times, so long, I had headaches. So, and then she had 3 more games. I'll show you the 3 more games she had, and then I'll show you the ones that I got because I couldn't just have that by itself. So, the last 3 games she had was Quest 64. I wish she had some in the box, but I'd rather have them than not at all. I'm not that type of person. She also had Killer Instinct Gold. Killer Instinct 64 Gold. And she had Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark. And this is a rare. That's a rare one. So she had those. And I was just like, cool. But you ain't got the one that I've been looking for. I've been looking for the Feast Days Resistance. I've been looking for Mario Kart. But she didn't have it. Around this time, I started looking for Mario Kart online. And Mario Kart was going for $100, $200, $300. And I'm like, there's no friggin' way I'm gonna spend $300 on Mario Kart 64. But like I said, people drive the price up. And this was the beginning of it. It's out of hand now, but this was the beginning of it. So I was just like, well, I'll hold out to see if I come across like a thrift store or, you know, like come across it like a Goodwill or something to see if I have it. But in the meantime, I got myself right here. This is All-Star Baseball 96, and this is Madden 96. I got these from Macari. Macari was a nice little app that you could jump on. There's a lot of classic games that you can get from there. Picking it up also from Macari, I think these were like 10 bucks a piece. These are all like 10 bucks a piece. Some of them were $3 a piece. I also got WCW versus NWO Nitro. I also got WCW versus NWO Revenge. This John, that John, whoo! I can't tell you how many times. I also picked up Snowboarding 1080, Diddy Kong Racing. These were 5 a piece right here. These were 5 a piece. So for $10, two Nintendo 64 games. And then I picked up also WCW versus NWO. So I got all them WCW games. For those of y'all who know about wrestling back in the Nintendo 64 days, them WCW games, man, I'm gonna have to bust these. Just thinking about it, it brings me back to another memory. See, we used to bust these too back in the day. Me, my bruh Phil, Deese, we used to always bust these. Man, just so many memories. And I got Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racers. This was one of the only ones besides Mario Kart that I also got from Blockbuster. Every week I would go and rent them. I would get Mario Kart 64, and I would also get this one here, because like it had been on like I can't say I had like the worst childhood in the world, because every time one of these new systems came out, my mother, she went out and got it for us. And that Nintendo 64, my brothers was done with gaming, my sister was done with gaming, but I wasn't. So she got the Nintendo 64 for the family, but basically it was mine. Yeah. So I jumped on that joint. So I was busting 64 all the time. And I can also say, I'm gonna see if I can't point it for you, because I don't know if you guys can see it. Hold on. Get up there. Hold up right there. Hold on. Go back there. There we go. Go back. All right. Go back. Right there. You can see on my wall, in box, in plastic, WrestleMania 2000, the black cartridge. WrestleMania 2000 black cartridge. Yes, I still got the truth, the light, and the way. When that joint WrestleMania 2000 came out, Nintendo 64 was the shiz niddle big shebang shaboogity bop, and it was awesome. Now, coming up to the next consoles, I never really got them until I was an adult, but I did hear of them. Number one was the PlayStation, the PS1. I wasn't a PlayStation person, and little known facts, while they were coming out with the PlayStation, the project came from Nintendo. During the time Nintendo was working with Sony, they was coming out with something called the PlayStation. It was going to be a hybrid between Nintendo and Sony at the time, because Sony wasn't into the console market. They were looking to break into it. A lot of people don't know that. But Nintendo wanted to go its own way and didn't want to go with the PlayStation route, so they did their own thing. PlayStation decided to do its own thing and come out with the Sony PlayStation. Now, it's funny because at one point, realistically, we could have been calling it the Nintendo PlayStation, but it didn't happen. There's a little bit of knowledge for you. We came to a small little bit of this thing being the Nintendo PlayStation, which is funny because I guess that's why the colorful logo is the same color as the Nintendo logos. I know, pretty cool, right? But PlayStation did its thing. I had a chance to go over some friend's house and play their PlayStation where they put the discs in there. One of my fondest memories of the PlayStation was we were playing Gran Turismo A-Spec, and I had worked for probably 14 weeks to get that license to get through, because I hated, you have to qualify and get those licenses in order to play the game, basically. And it had real music in it, and I liked that. But one of my fondest memories was my boy at the time. We was playing Gran Turismo A-Spec, and he was like, watch this. So he clicked it and popped it open and took the game out. Now we still playing. You took the game out and we were still playing. This shit was mesmerizing. And then he put a music CD in and we started listening to music while we were playing the game. And I'm like, how? I was like, surely the game has to cut off at some point. No. Until you had to insert this too. This was a hack that I wish PlayStation had kept. So during the middle of us playing a game, he took the game out. We're still playing. The system had memory for that, I guess. And then he put a music CD in, and we listening to music while we playing. We put our own tracks on while we were playing Gran Turismo. That's one of my best memories of PlayStation. That's awesome. I give it to you. That's why I have a PlayStation, because I have great memories of busting PlayStation with my boys. Also, at the time, this was very expensive. My first PlayStation was a PlayStation 2, a PS2. And I got that when I was old enough to be on my own and have a job, and I worked, and I was able to get it. I wish I could tell you the story of how I acquired a PlayStation 2, because it's a little nefarious, but I was able to get it. And I'm happy I was able to get it. But how I came about it, I'm gonna have to take that to the grave. Those of y'all who know me, you know the story. You do know the story. But those of y'all who don't know out there in Gameville, I can't put it on here. I can't. Sorry, I can't. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I refuse to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me, so I'm not talking about it. But I got a PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 2 played both DVDs, games, and music. That PlayStation 2, that shit is still lit, and I have one today. I still have one today. I also have, let me see if I can put you over here. I got Xbox 360s over there, and I have a PlayStation. I can't really get to it. I have a PlayStation over there. I just recently got a PS3. If you can actually see, I do have a PS4. I do have a PlayStation 4 right there. You can see on the PlayStation wall right there. Yeah. So I do have a PS4. Actually, let's see real quick. See if I can. Where's it at? Where's the Johnny John? All right. Show you real quick. Yeah. I actually have a PlayStation 4. So yeah. I have a PS4, so PS3, PS4, PS2, and a PS1. I don't have the original PS1, but I do have the mini. And how much do you need? People's like, yo, why don't you get a PS5? Because I ain't interested in the PS5. I ain't interested in the $600 system that my PC can play at higher the frame rate. It's not going to happen. So, like I said, on top of all of that, while we were dealing with both Sega, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft wanted to jump into the deal. Microsoft was like, yo, I want to get into this too, so we gonna do our own system. And we called that the Xbox. This big old granddaddy, the Xbox. I know y'all saw the 360 over there, and yeah, I know y'all saw the 360. Yeah, but this right here, this was the original Xbox right here. The granddaddy. This thing got some weight to it. It's huge. But yeah. So like I try to tell y'all, I'm the game ninja, man. I don't play pimping. When it comes to it, you have play pimping people who are not about this life. Like, you see the room. You see the room. You know what I got on my walls. Yeah, there are people that play pimping when it comes to gaming. The game ninja don't play pimp. We from the old school. We from the original OG old school. And we game it all. There is no console wars here in my dojo. We game it all. What you want to game, we game. You want to take it back to the 360. You want to take it back to the original box. You want to take it back to the PS1, PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Atari 2600, 7800, ColecoVision, Commodore 64. If you want to do that, we could bust that. We could bust that all day, every day. Sega Genesis. And I said I don't have a Sega Master System, but I do have it on my computer, and I do have a mini version of it. But I would like to have the original. Like I said, this is what we are about here in the Game Dojo. Each one of these systems has its own unique memories, has its own unique fun. And yeah, we got modern too. That's my some of my Nintendo Switch games, and then you see the Nintendo console right here. Kind of light it up for you. Warm it up, Chris. I'm about to. Warm it up, Chris. There you go. That's what I was born to do. Warm it up, Chris. Yeah. So we got old school, new school, middle school. We got it all. And then we got my gaming PC, Project Leviathan. So we can hang out and stomp with the big dogs, or we can go back and hang out with the pound puppies from back in the day. But when we game, it's about the experience for us. It's never about just graphics. Because some people get a new game and be like, all right, yeah, I beat it in like 14 hours. I did a speed run. Why are you speed running? What's the point? You want to play the game. You want to enjoy the game. You want to experience the game. So then why are you speed running it? What's the point? Bro, I got 1,700 hours in Animal Crossing. 1,700. 1,700 hours. Bro, that's gaming love. If you want to impress me and you a gamer, don't tell me you beat a game in 4 hours. Don't tell me you speed ran that shit. You want to impress me? Let me see that work. How many hours you put in on Hogwarts Legacy? I got 96. How many hours you put in Elden Ring? I got 145. You want to impress me when it comes to gaming? Show me that work, bro. Show me that work. Show me you a gamer. Show me you ain't play pimping. You ain't just out here, oh yeah, I got it day one. I beat it in 12 hours. Nah, dog. Nah, no. And the funny part is, the game makers are starting to cater to you people like that. Yeah. Call of Duty campaigns being 7 hours, 8 hours. That's not gaming, son. That is not a campaign. That is not gaming. That is not respectful. I still play it, but it's not respectful. See, the problem is the gaming, the language, the world is changing in the land of gaming, because there are people out there who aren't gamers who are now part of the gaming culture, making games and budgeting games and voting on programs and processes and which games get remastered in HDs, and they don't know nothing about gaming. This is the sad part in the state of affairs when it comes to gaming. So I know my lane. I know where I live. I know where I stay. I know where I'm at. That's why I'm the Game Ninja, baby. That's exactly why I'm the Game Ninja. Because I play it all. I used to be part of the console wars. Oh, I'm Sega. I'm Team Nintendo. I'm Team Xbox. I'm Team PlayStation. And then I thought about it. I love playing everything. I cheated on my Xbox friends. I know we was busting Halo, but guess what? PlayStation had some Crash Bandicoot. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get down on the Bandicoot. I'm sorry, PlayStation, but Sega had Sonic. Sonic was kind of bumping. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Sega, but that Mortal Kombat 1 music sound like you playing on paper cups. That Super Nintendo, it's kind of lovely. It's kind of fine. So I was busting Super. And I bust all Nintendo because Nintendo, it's going to sound bad, but I'm your bitch, baby. I'm your bitch, baby. From day one, going back to your original system. Every time you dropped it, I was there. I was on it. I have a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy Color. I have a DS Lite, a 3DS, a 2DS, a 4DS, whatever the hell you have. I have a Nintendo Switch, bruh. You don't understand. Nintendo, I'm yours. Everybody has to have a banner flag that they fly under. And even though I am non-bipartisan when it comes to gaming, and I am not against the console wars, because if anything, I would be Team PC, because that's the master race, and that's what I game most of the time on. But as much as I game on my PC, because I do like graphics, I bust that Nintendo Switch. Fun factor, because some of the newest games with the most best graphics in the world, they've forgotten the fun factor. Nintendo ain't forgot. Check out my new Prince of Persia video, bro. It dropped last night. That Prince of Persia take me back to the original Sega Genesis when I was busting it back in like 87. The Prince of Persia, the original Prince of Persia. That's right. And here we are, almost 40 years later, 45 years. Oh my God. It feel bad me saying that, but on the same token, I wear that shit with pride. I got the Ring of Power. I wear that shit with pride. We've been gaming for almost a half a century. Damn, that feels bad saying it, but we wear that with pride. Half a century gamer. Tell me you a gamer. Tell me your gamer stories. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when it comes to the land of gaming, and as you can see, I got the Xbox wall behind me for this one, because I ain't forgot my box. I ain't forgot my box, y'all. When it comes to the land and the realm of gaming, don't fall for the ploys of we are better, this is better over that, this is better over that, PlayStation is this, Xbox is that, Sega Genesis can't do this on Nintendo. Well, I'm telling you, you can do it on Nintendo, Sega. Because after you guys dropped out of the console wars, Nintendo kept going. So actually Nintendo does. Nintendo does. Sega does what Nintendo don't, but Nintendo does what Sega can't. And now here we are, 2024, Sega coming back into the game. And the funny part is, most of y'all Sega games is on the Nintendos now. See? That shit don't matter. It's all money. It's all money. Think about it. Nintendo Switch got games coming from Xbox, got games coming from PlayStation, got games coming from Sega. If they really were console exclusives and they really want you to be on one platform, why would they share games? Why would they share IPs? Do you guys not get that? It's gaming. Go hard or go home. It's all beautiful. Matter of fact, you could come to the game dojo and we could sit down and bust Monopoly. I ain't talking about digital. I'm talking about the actual analog joint. That's right. We do it all forms of gaming. And I haven't forgot you too, my cell phone brothers and sisters. I've been there with you. 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you busting Candy Crush, you busting Soda Saga, you busting them Angry Birds. Yeah, I've been there. Bejeweled, yes, brother. So I'm not excluding you either. Cell phone gamers, my brothers and sisters, you part of the gaming nation too. My board game people, my Dungeons and Dragons people. I ain't in it, cause I ain't been around nobody in my life that I could bust Dungeons and Dragons with. So I just simply watch the cartoon back in the day and other things. It doesn't mean I don't respect you. It's just like Baldur's Gate. I respect people from the land and the nation of Dungeons and Dragons. I hear how y'all barking about it. I hear how y'all love it. I hear stories. I talk to people back and forth. I know. I get it. I get the elders. I get it. I get it. I get Baldur's Gate 3. I get the hype. Unfortunately, it's too rich for my blood. Sorry. Unfortunately, I'm in a state where I can't designate another 150 gigs to one game. Can't do it, bruh. I gotta exceed what I'm doing right now, and then we can talk about getting up to that point. Because gaming has become not just expensive, but expensive digitally. You talking about games that are 200-300 gigs. Microsoft Flight Simulator, 580 gigs, and that ain't including the HD texture packs. You talk about Call of Duty Zombies, 100 gigs on top of 100 and something gigs in the game. Yes. Now y'all know why I got 146 terabytes. Because I'm a gamer. And the world has moved into this point. The world has expanded itself so far that you need bigger hard drives, bigger storages, and now with graphics being absolutely amazing, now you got RTX, now you got ray tracing, you got things that we didn't have back then. And I give you credit for it because some of the games are the most beautiful things. I am a graphics brother. I love looking at graphics, and I don't look, the game may suck, but it's beautiful. I'll play it. The game may suck, but the graphics, they beautiful. And I'm with you. I'm there. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I just wanted to take you down a little bit of a gaming robe here in the Game Dojo and to show you who we are, what we are, why we are, and where we come from. I am the Game Ninja. I come from over a half a century of gaming. And I am here today to let you know gaming back then, during, and now is still gaming. If you love it, if it lifts your spirit, if it frustrates you, if it gives you malice, if it gives you love and joy, if you want to save the world, if you want to fight the Spartan race, if you want to run with the football and make that touchdown and win the Super Bowl, gaming can take you there. It can take you places you dare to dream, and you can do it from the comforts of a chair at home. This is what gaming is. And the most disrespectful thing is I hear from people, some people who don't know about it is, oh, it's just a game. Yeah, because you don't get it. You know how many gamers are there in this world? There are more gamers in this world than there are millionaires, than there are, damn, I think they said at last count, something like 48 billion gamers? 48 billion gamers. And that's not counting The cell phone gamers. That's not counting the analog gamers. VR, artificial reality, AR. We are a movement. We are a nation. Gamers. We are. All of us. I'll see you next time.